So now you follow up all your drafted points. Now you cut out your neck and ensure you leave allowance on the back part for your seaming allowance. This is our exact body measurement, so you don't expect us to cut from the exact measurement, so you leave out allowance from the back. So you leave out allowance, so you cut out the slant area. Like this. So now this is the front and the back. Then we now cut out our longer dart point. So now this is our dart point. So now after you've cut out your front, the back and the side, you keep them together, or you indicate your right and wrong sides like this, so you will not make any mistake. So now we will cut the pocket sides. Now after we've gummed, all these draftings will be covered, so you cut out your pocket position, then you cut on your dart. Remember our point 1.1 that we took away, you make it visible by removing your point 2 point. You can see I created a point 2 darts there. That means my 1.1 that I marked earlier is out. So on this part that you can see like this, you're going to minus out 0.2 from 8. Then you blend it to this point, so this is how it should be like. So on this point of your chest line, there will be a notch there. When we are fixing sleeve, please ensure you mark this notch on your chest line, so there won't be any challenge when you want to fix on your sleeves. So now this is how it is. So now this is our front. This is the front, the side and the back pattern. Now remember we have 18 on our arm eye. So now when we are drafting the sleeve, when we measure the tip of the sleeve, it's supposed to give us 19.2, because the sleeve is always bigger than the body with 1.2 inch. So now after we've drafted the sleeve and we measure, the tip alone is supposed to give us 19.2. so we go on the sleeve part. Now we are about to cut the sleeve. You as well take your 2 lines, your vertical and your horizontal line. That is very, very important, so you can demarcate your 2 edges. Now, first thing first, our sleeve here is 23.5 and our bicep is 13.5 and our wrist to elbow is 10.5. So now that is what we are going to work on. Now, you first of all mark your length, 23.5, you add 1 inch to it, which is 24.5. Then you as well mark it here, then you rule your line straight up like this. Then you mark out 2 inch, which is a constant figure on every suit you're making. You mark out 2 inch like this, like this. Now, for we to get the arm line on the sleeve, you divide your bicep by 2 minus 0.2. Now, since we are to divide our bicep by 2 minus 0.2, this is our bicep 6.7 minus 0.2, that is 6.5. You mark out your 6.5 like this. Then you can now roll and connect the lines together. Just leave the phone like that. Don't bring it and come down. Now, this is our constant 2 inch. This is our arm line. Now, our wrist to elbow is 10.5. This is our wrist point, and the 10.5 is given. You mark your 10.5 from your wrist point like this. So like this. So now on this sleeve part too, the sleeve too has its own box frame, and for we to get that box frame, you divide your bicep by 2, which is 6.7 plus 2.5, that is 9.2. So now we are marking 9.2 downward. Then you connect it together. To the top line. Now, on the sleeve part, we have the bigger parts and the smaller parts. Now, the bigger parts, for the box frame, you divide your arms and your bicep by 2 plus 2.5, while on the smaller part, you mark only your exact bicep. So once you mark it, you connect it together as well. So now this is for the bigger part, this is for the smaller part. Now on this point, we mark out half inches into 2 places. Now we are trying to get the curves on the sleeve part. You mark out 2 half inches, that is 1 inch. Then you mark out your exact arm on the 2 inch, which is this spot. Now coming for the arm line, now we are drafting only the bigger sleeve for now. We are yet to go to the smaller part. On the arm line, you mark out 0.7 like this on this side. Then coming for the elbow spot, you mark out 0.7 as well. Then from this other edge, you mark out 0.4 from this edge. So coming for the wrist point, you take in 3 inches from here. Then you add half inches on the outer part. Clever. You mark out half inches on the outer part. Then you take off half inches from here. Then half inches downward. Now remember, on this edge, you mark out half inches out, then half inches up. There will be a small box on this side. Then coming for this other edge, the half inches is down. So after you've taken your half inches downward, then you will leave your hem allowance 2 inches. a hem allowance 2 inches, then you connect them together. Now, this is how it works. You first of all join your 0.7 on your arm line to your exact arm figure on your constant 2 inch, just like this. Then you take in your French cuff. This is a French cuff. You place it on your 3 inches, then you connect it to your 0.4 on your elbow line. Please ensure you have all this cuff so you can get it right. So now this is it, like this. You place this edge as well from the tip to your 0.7 on the elbow as well, like this. Then from this elbow line, you pin your hand down and you adjust it to your arm line, then you complete your curve. Now this is how it is. So now on this arm line, you take up 1.5, which is also constant, like this. Now on this 1.5, that is where the notch will be from. Now remember the notch on the body, that is where it's connected when fixing sleeve to the body. Now on this point, we are going, after when we are cutting, we are going to notch on this point too. So now from this 1.5, you slope it down to that. But before this time, so now this is our 1.5. Then you now connect it to your arm line. Now then you connect your first half to your arm point, to your arm line as well. Now as you can see, now we are trying, the sleeve has a direction. Now for we to get the curve on this point, your point here to this edge is 6 inches. Now we divide the 6 inches by 2, which is 3. Then we take up 0.4 to it. Now we now mark on this point. Now after you've marked this point, then you take up your French cuff, your armhole cuff, like this. Like this. Now from this point, you take in 0.4 as well, another 0.4. Then you can now connect it to this level. So now you ensure your 0.4 and this line aligns together. Then you can now get your curve from there. So now this is the curve on this point. Now we are trying to get the slit on the sleeve. From this our straight line, you mark 3.5 inch, then you slope it with 3 inch, then you connect it together. Then the size of your slit should be at least 1 inch, like this. Then you measure the remaining one. This is 1 inch left. You bring your 1 inch, then you slant it with 0.7. This is it. So you can now connect it together. So now this is all for the bigger part of the sleeve.